My first encounter with Chabad was back in around 2003 or 2004, when my mother, of blessed memory, when she was in the hospital, and it was Sukkot, but I didn't know about that holiday then. So I was sitting there on her bed at the hospital, and two gentlemen, two young men, came to the door of the hospital room. They came in, they showed my mother and I, we both, how to shake the lulav and to say the blessing. One of the young men, who I later found out, who introduced himself as Shloimi, the son of the main rabbi at the Chabad, he said that he was publishing a newspaper, the Chabad Times, and would he mind if I got put on the mailing list? I said, no, that would be fine. I would like to receive that. So he took my name and address and he put me on the mailing list, and I started receiving the Chabad Times periodically. And I didn't really think about it too much again after that. And my mother said to me, she said, don't you want to go out and do something? It's been a while, don't you maybe want to go to a movie? I said, I'm not interested in a movie or any kind of social entertainment. She said, well, we really, should go out and do something. I said, okay, I've been getting the Chabad Times. That's where that comes back into the story. And I said, let me take a look. They always have something in there for women's groups. So sure enough, we look in there, and that day, they were having a women's group at a private home, and it was to write your memoirs. It was a writing workshop. So that sounded interesting to both of us. So we went to the workshop. It was very nice. We walked in, and there was, of course, nice food, and there was a very inviting atmosphere and a lot of women and comfortable surroundings. It just felt like the right place for a first outing on my part. And as we were leaving, the rabbi's daughter, Rivki, walked us to the door, and she said how nice it was to meet us, and was hoping that she would see us again, and asked if, what kind of things that we might be interested in. And I told her that I was interested in learning some things, and at that time I said Kabbalah. I mean, I didn't even really know what that was, but I had said, that was something that I thought I would be interested in. She said, oh, well, my father teaches a class every Monday night at our house. Why don't you, see about coming to that class? In January, I started going to that class. It was a Tanya class at the rabbi's house, and I started going every week. I did then start going to some of the holiday services at Chabad. So my mother and I would go to the holiday services, and the rabbi and Sippy had invited us over, my mother and I, for lunch on Rosh Hashanah. I think we had been there for dinner also on some of the other holidays. And I continued doing that, and then 3 years later, my mother passed on. And I remember when she was very sick, because I had been going to the rabbi's house now every Monday night for classes, I knew the rabbi and I knew Zippy very well. And they knew my mother. They, as a matter of fact, had come to see her. She was living in an assisted living facility at the Stratford, and when she got very sick, I called Sippy and asked if the rabbi could come. And so she actually came. She came with Doig, and they came to visit my mother and to say some blessings and prayers with her. When she passed on, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. It was the holiday. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I didn't want to bother the rabbi, but I felt like I needed the rabbi, so I waited until it was a little bit more of a decent hour, but it was still very, very early in the morning before shul, and I went to the rabbi's house. I remember I knocked on his door, and I said, my mother has passed on and I need your help. I don't know what to do. My sister's here and we just haven't really made any plans ahead of time, so we need help. The rabbi and Sippy were very, very comforting, helpful, understanding at that time. They helped us through that situation and making all of the arrangements. But I remember Tzippi saying to me, now that your mother is not here, what are you going to do on Shabbos? She said, it's not good to ever be alone on Shabbos on Friday nights. I want you to feel as though you always have a place to come to, and you should come to our house on Friday night for Shabbos dinner. So she said, you'll just be like part of the family, and actually that's the way it was.